we were born with power. We were born with connection with ourselves. We were born to love and be loved. And we have all we need for the life. But all of it is changed with outside society rules and expectations.
Hi, and welcome to Don't Drink to Feed podcast. This podcast is all about you and all the courageous, driven women like you. We are here to inspire, to empower, to share, and to embrace one another. We will be talking with women from different backgrounds and careers about love, family, friendship, their wins and falls, and what it took for them to live the life they love. I am your host, Claudia Noriega-Bernstein, and I am so happy you're here today. Hi, everyone. I'm super excited. I'm having today a friend of mine who's also a coach, and her name is Anna Hanael. Anna is a speaker, a mentor, a healer. She helps empath entrepreneur rewire overgiving, overachieving, and perfectionism through energy mastery and hypnosis into self-trust, clean boundaries, and calm confidence. So aligned clients and healthy love arrive without burnout. Your energy speaks before you do. So let it speak confidence. Welcome, Anna.
Welcome, Claudia. I am so honored to be here with you today. Thank you.
I am very happy to have you here because there is a lot of things that we can cover. We live in a world right now where everybody wants to be liked. Everybody wants to be accepted. But there is also that underline that sometimes we're not even aware we have that stops us, that make us feel we're not deserving of things. We're not worthy of things. We are not enough to want those things, and that holds us back. So before we even dig into that, tell me a little bit about yourself and how did you started into this journey of healing from the inside out. I know that healing is always from the inside out, but we're talking about our brain, not just our emotions, but our brain and how we are wired.
So my journey started, I don't know, I'm thinking which point to pick up in life. Okay. I was born an empath. So a person who can sense the energy and without even understanding. And I was told that all of it is bad. So I shut it off. And understanding that I have to rewire the brain came at the moment when I found myself in an abusive marriage. And it was that moment when I just didn't know what to do and where to go. By accident or by fate or by spirits brought to me, however you want to call it, my mentor ended up being in my house in Las Vegas at Thanksgiving dinner. And she was the one who pointed to me that the mind is the one that orchestrates everything, that controls our energy and controls our boundaries. And that's when my journey started, working on myself in order to create different life.
I was talking to a client the other day and she was supposed to ask for a raise. She had everything lined up. She was very aware of her worth. She knew what she was bringing to the company. She had her letter. There was an opportunity for her, but something was holding her back. And she was like, I just don't think it's the right time. And I was trying to motivate her to just make the step. The worst thing that could happen is you are staying in the same place where you are right now. But something bigger than her was holding her back. And that's what it makes me think that maybe she needed to explore hypnosis. And I'm saying this because many years ago, I knew somebody that was an alcoholic. And she had tried absolutely everything. And she didn't stop drinking until she really got into hypnosis and rewired her brain. So explain to me how that works. How is it that we can go in somebody's mind and get rid of those blocks and bring different beliefs into that brain that would empower somebody achieve that goal they have?
So our brain has 3 layers: conscious mind, cognitive filter, and subconscious mind. And very often we criticize ourselves that we don't have a strong will. Well, the message is everyone has the same will. That's the conscious mind. That is only 12%. No one has a 10, no one has 15. It's 12% of our mind is conscious. So like when we're talking right now, it's on a conscious level. Then we have the filter that is protecting subconscious mind, that huge part of our mind that is underneath, which is 88% our mind. That part of the mind controls our automatic behavior, our judgments about ourselves, others. This is what's happened just without any thinking. And if we try to control ourselves through logical, conscious mind, it's exhausting. And all the programs of self-worth, rejection, abandonment are written in 88%. When we are born, we don't have a filter. Children are born with only subconscious ruling them. The filter, the cognitive filter that blocks subconscious mind and closes like a box, let's imagine, happens around age of 8 or 9. Up to that point, we absorb everything. We don't have values. This is good, this is bad. Children are just sponges that observe. So if a mother doesn't have the self-worth, confidence, she allows other people roll over and her and be abused. The child creates the program that is normal behavior. If mother never asks for what she wants, the adult daughter never gonna ask for what she wants. That power is written that be quiet. Don't step out of your comfort zone. Don't ask for what you want. And the 88% is always going to win with 12.
Wow. But I also noted that there is cases, for example, I work with women, so I have the opportunity to see different cases, right? So there are women that perhaps had a very supportive mother, very loving mother, very present mother, but the dad was absent. Or the dad said, I'm going to come and pick you up, and he doesn't pick them up. Or the dad is a period of time with them, and then the dad disappear. So even though they have that consistency with the mom, they have that absence with the dad. And when that happens, they create this uncertainty. I'm not going to fall in love because they're going to leave me. I'm not going to be too close to a friend because what if they betray me? Maybe they are not going to show up. So it's kind of like a conflict in our mind, right? Because we have the example of consistency and love and acceptance, but we also have that other one. Why our mind chooses to go to that not consistent evidence instead of to the one that is every day there?
So it's hard to explain why the mind in children chooses what's going to dominate. But when you gave the example, the dad didn't show up, that creates abandonment and rejection. I am not good enough for my father to show up. So for children, parents are like gods on a pedestal, and they want to be loved and accepted. And when the parent doesn't show up, in a previous question, I said mothers, but we talk about both parents. It was just easier to give the example. I don't want to place any blame or guilt or anything.
No, I totally understand.
But that creates abandonment. So let's think about even different situation, that there is a outside loving, caring home, but the parents are emotionally unavailable. So there is no talking about emotions. Or certain emotions are rejected, like you cannot get angry, boys cannot cry. That creates conflict within the mind and very different behavioral patterns and feelings later on. So then the person gets older and leaves through the prism, I want to be accepted. So to be accepted, I have to fulfill other people's expectations and I have to please them. And that goes forward until we completely burn ourselves and we cannot do anything or give anything anymore.
So how did the hypnosis work with cases like that? How do you help a client that has that history, that pattern, that those limiting beliefs that I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy of it, how do you empower them? How do you work with the hypnosis in their mind to repattern those beliefs?
So hypnosis function and works in a subconscious level. So like I mentioned before, now we're consciously talking. When I will induce you to hypnosis, you willingly break the filter separating you from conscious to subconscious mind. So we go to that 88% where all those programs or behavioral programs are sitting. And we starting reprogramming. So in hypnotherapy, we utilizing hypnosis in therapeutic way. So we're doing what clients desire, never anything against. The client wants to go into hypnosis because only you can break your filter. I don't have a power to break your filter. And when we go to subconscious level, my favorite therapy is Heal Your Inner Child. It's extremely powerful on a conscious level. And I find out that I have clients who come and say, oh, I've done already 5 retreats about inner child, don't touch it. And yet when I go to the first session of inner child, the child is not even existing.
Not even acknowledged.
Not even acknowledged. And so working on a deep hypnotic level begins to change the way we are born. So we were born with power. We were born with connection with ourselves. We were born to love and be loved. And we have all we need for the life. But all of it is changed with outside society rules and expectations. So through inner child, we go to that child and we strengthen that child. I work with building the power of that child, that she is or he is worthy, confident, connected, loving, and it's safe to love. It's safe to set the boundaries. There is a process of talking to the child. There is a process of playing with child and the process of parenting that child. And when that happens, it's amazing to see in clients that first is this baby newborn, and then they talking to a teenager. And automatically in their life outside, they changed. Their behavior is changing automatically. So they will come back and say, oh my gosh, I was angry. Oh my gosh, I applied for that promotion and I got it. And oh my gosh, I have so much patience for my children.
Right. Because they don't have those triggers anymore.
Yes. We do also, if there are very traumatic events in hypnotherapy, we can go and desensitize those events. So they stay your history. The memory doesn't change, but it's disconnected from emotions.
Right. It's kind of like EMDR.
I do use EMDR for PTSD and very, very, very traumatic experiences, but I go a step further. Very often clients come from EMDR and they started some healing, but I feel disturbed, like they feel misaligned a bit. So we go and we creating the alignment. We like kind of finalizing and bringing peace and calmness. So everything we do in a subconscious level is permanent and stays and start changing automatic behaviors later on. So if I want to change let's say I want to stop eating chocolate on conscious level. So I'm going to I need to stop eating chocolate. And then I will eat the chocolate and I will feel guilty and I create another bad negative programs.
Right.
When we talk about stop eating chocolate on a subconscious level, the mind is fine with it. And the mind is like, okay, the chocolate is neutral. It's not important.
Right.
And there is no negative self-talk later on.
So the goal is not to delete the emotion, but to turn it into neutral. So it doesn't have the effect or the reaction, or it doesn't become a trigger anymore.
Yes.
So you have, let's say somebody that was attacked or was abused, right? And every time they have a situation that brings that same feeling, not necessarily because somebody is attacking her or abusing her, but it makes her feel threatened, then that memory will come back. Once they go through the process of healing through hypnotherapy, they will remember that, but it will not have the trigger. It would not be, oh my gosh, this person talked to me like that, so now I'm going to feel this way and this is what's going to happen to me. It's just going to be, I recognize the feeling, but I'm neutral.
That's correct. That's correct. So my clients are able, after hypnotherapy, they are able to share their story without crying. So if I see someone who talks about some emotional trauma and they cannot get the words and the throat is closing and they're crying, that's mean they are not healed.
Right.
So that's mean that trauma is still guiding them through actions, decisions, and the whole life. So in hypnotherapy, we don't delete. We cannot actually delete the mind. That's a misconception. The mind creates those neural pathways and they are there. The question is, how we gonna work with them and to what we gonna attach them. If we attach them to peace, comfort, and forgiveness, letting go, then it is the history like you just described, that the person is not triggered by someone's movement, by someone's action. But very often abuse is also associated with colors and the environment. So that is also a trigger we have to remove.
Right.
And so they will know this was the history and they can share, but they are not crushed by that history anymore.
Why do you think people get attached to people that they know in the conscious mind are not good for them?
That is a very complicated question, and I'm going to do my best to answer. So we stepping into what mind really does for us. We are body, mind, and spirit. And that spirit is expression of our energy field. So each of us has auric field that has 4 layers, and the auric field usually spreads as the length of your arm or can go all the way up to 150 feet. The more loving and peaceful the person, the bigger the auric field. So now someone may say, I don't care about this. Well, our mind controls that field, and that field sends signals like radio constantly. So if our mind says, I am not worthy of love, I am abandoned, I am rejected, and I'm going to please you, the signals sent out means I need to attract someone who's going to tell me what to do. So automatically, as a loving person, caring person, we are attracting an abuser or a toxic person who's going to use us, because that signal says, I need to constantly be told what to do. I need to constantly be fulfilled by some unreasonable need. We fell in love with those people.
Oh, we're friends with those people too, because it's not just in a romantic feel. It's like you see that is not a good friend. It's a one-way street. They're always putting you down. They're taking advantage of you. Yet you're looking for that person to be in your life. It's like in a way we are punishing ourselves unconsciously.
Yes, because the mind is constantly sending the vibration of not being complete and lying confident within yourself. And what is really interesting I experience that, and that's why I do what I do with my clients now, I'm seeing it, that when they heal internally, that signal changes and suddenly they attract the person who accepts them, who respects them and have fun with them. And that's when the friendships and relationships start changing. So I always say the painful irony is that when we crave the most to be fulfilled and loved and accepted, we are not getting it because we have to give this to ourselves first before someone else can give this to us. And it's only because the mind sends those signals out and attracts. So consciously, we know this person is not good, but subconsciously, we have our weird need fulfilled.
It's a codependency in a way.
Yes. Yes.
So how do we get rid of, or how do we release those toxic relationships?
When we changing the belief system within ourselves, when we building the trust and we start feeling that deep inner self-confidence, we start setting up the boundaries. And what I noticed, those abusive or using people begin to sense that. So even without words, they are no longer interested in us. looking for someone else.
Another victim.
Yes, yes,
Wow.
exactly. And we start attracting people who are just want to know us for who we are. It just happens automatically. So there is no really any, well, in divorce can be different, but in a normal life with friends or even bosses at work, this happens. That's very interesting process because it's just automatic. They simply don't want to be in a room with whole person anymore.
So it's not that you're gonna have a conversation with that person and say, listen, I'm healing and I no longer want to be your friend. It's kind of by default, that person doesn't feel the need to be close to you and you don't feel the need of being in their presence. So you kind of separate yourself. When this happens, we don't feel like being around those people, and those people also don't feel like being around us. It's
Yes.
like a mutual understanding without having the conversation.
Yes, because let's talk about, so let's say when we attract abuser, the abuser also doesn't love him or herself. So we need to have a person fulfilling their needs. When we cannot fulfill their needs, they automatically go to the next victim, as you just said. It's just automatic. So rarely there are any fights or rarely there are any, except the divorces, but that's the process. Rarely there is like a heavy conversation or I'm healing and I don't want to see you anymore. It's just automatic because also the person who heals begins to set boundaries.
Right.
So if this was a friendship that only takes and takes and takes, at some point we're going to say no. My clients often, they go and have parties and they want to be with friends who are partying a lot and drinking a lot. And when they build themselves into that strong, confident self, they say, Anna, I really don't want to go with them drink anymore. I would rather go and see a movie. And I said, then what you going to do? I'm going to see a movie. And they finding the friend who wants to go and see a movie versus partying and getting drunk. And there is no fight or any kind or animosity, just simple, natural, boundary related choice.
And I think it works the same way with different patterns, even though it's different situation. Like there is people that feed out of drama. They need to have drama in their life. They create the drama. From something little, they create a story and then they repeat that story to the sister, to the mother, to the friend, to whoever wants to hear it, because by talking about this drama that didn't even exist to begin with, but they have created, they feel relevant, they feel important, they feel they matter. They make themselves matter by creating that toxicity. That also comes from a not enough feeling. Correct?
But they don't understand that the more they talk, the more they attract the same. Nothing's going to change. So one of my first lessons when I started my transformation with my mentor was she said, you're going to stop telling anyone except me what's wrong in your life. You're going to stop complaining. You're going to stop bitching. That was her words. You are not going to go with your friends and talk about bad things. You're going to go with your friends and talk about the clothes, cosmetics, movies, books, fun. So, because what we say and how often creates attraction.
Right. And also those kind of friends, because they're toxic, they want to hear how bad your life is, how terrible you're going, the things you're going through, because also that makes them feel better.
Yeah, misery likes company.
Right, exactly. It's so incredibly amazing how our brain works and how much power we have, and we don't recognize it. We think this is how it is, and we just navigate life accepting what is. And we don't get curious to see where is the root of this belief? Why is this belief making me feel this way? Why do I have the friends I have? Why I cannot feel empowered to ask for a raise? We don't ask ourselves those questions. We just accept it. And years can go by without us finding out what is the real meaning of our life or what is the real purpose of us in this world.
I agree. We are born so innocent, and then everything is just squeeze, 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 the rules, the society expectations, and we have to fulfill this and that. We completely forgetting about who we are. And I always say, yeah, 9 years of life sets us on a lifelong path of transformation and healing. But that transformation is adventure. If we're going to start seeing our past choices not as mistakes, but as lessons, what we learn from it versus blaming ourselves, we can grow and we can change and create life of love and create life of joy. So I believe that the brain is the biggest, most powerful tool we have. The brain determines if our life is hell or happiness. The brain is the one who runs everything. I will always say up to age of 30, we're going on autopilot. After age of 30, the brain is already set up, every chemistry is developed, and we are adult enough to start become aware and say, okay, why this is happening? Because I believe in that. I'm allowing this to exist in my life. So what can I do to change? And that's why I fell in love with hypnotherapy, because I was working on changing my brain in a regular talking patterns, and that was taking forever. Just to change one pattern took almost 3 years. And then when I discovered hypnotherapy, I was like, where was that? Because within 6 months, I was able to transform multiple beliefs. And I started to see the results from people who were coming into my life. Who was coming? We attract situations. If we're going to say that everything in life is bad, after repeating it 10 times, everything in life is going to go bad, because that's what we just attract.
And that's what we tell ourselves too. I don't think we are fully aware of the things that we say and how our brain are listening internally and from the outside. Our voice and our mind is telling our brain we're not good enough. We're not enough to ask for the things we want. We're not worthy of the life we want. And we say it constantly. I had a client long time ago that used to say to me over and over and over, I am in a really bad place. I am in a really bad place. And one day, like I think it was in the second or third session, because she repeated it like 5, 6 times during the sessions. Yeah, because I am in a really bad place. And I said, I need you to stop saying this. We're going to make a challenge. In the next 3 days, you're not going to say that. You're going to stop yourself. When you feel like saying that, you're going to stop yourself, because you are telling your brain constantly that you are in a bad place, and you're going to continue being in that bad place because you're telling yourself that that's what it is. And you're not giving any possibility for any changes or any upgrade in your life, because you're already accepting the fact that you are in a bad place. So how important it is to talk to ourselves in a kind and positive way.
It's the most important. I can give also examples about how people talk to themselves badly, and that leads to not only attracting bad people, but health problems. So it's very important, like you just said, catch the thought, negative thought, and I always say cancel that thought. And if you don't have a power to go exactly opposite of the thought, think about a book, something different. But in hypnotherapy, with hypnotherapy, this is much easier. Because when a client comes and has this negative self-talk, I will catch that and I will say, how do you want to think about yourself instead? And very often that is a problem. They don't have positive words. So we play with words. And once they accept, in hypnotic state, I program the brain that this is your new way of thinking. This is your new state of being and feeling. And then when they choose to catch themselves, they say it's much easier. It's like they don't have to fight themselves. It's easier for them to shift. And after a few weeks, that shift is almost like disappearing, because they already have the positive. They feel positive, so it's easier for them to think positively about themselves. I recently had a client, she has a gorgeous woman, and beautiful, and she always saw herself ugly. Finally, she admitted to it, so we were able to work on it. And she will stand in front of the mirror and list all the negative things about herself, thinking, sometimes saying aloud, going to a closet and saying, I have nothing to wear, nothing fits me. The life was going like that for years because that's what she was attracting.
That was her pattern, right?
Yeah. Now, when we change the pattern, I asked her to buy the new clothes. Okay, she did. And now she walks into the closet and has a new clothes, and she only can think what looks good, what parts she likes about herself. And this is a different woman right now.
Wow.
She thinks positively about herself and she sees herself beautiful. And she wasn't about weight, but as a side effect, she dropped a size because she loves herself. She talks positive things to herself. She says, oh, I look so nice in this new dress, and goes with her day. And that's just a recent example of self-talk, how important it is.
I think it's important to remember that we get to choose our emotions the same way that we get to choose our thoughts. We are led to believe that our emotions are a default reaction or feeling of the situation, of the circumstance we are experiencing. I wake up in the morning and the same way I choose my clothes, I choose my emotions. Today I'm going to have a great day. Today I'm going to look joy in every situation. Today I'm going to be happy. Today I'm going to enjoy this weather that is getting chilly, and I'm going to take a walk, and I'm not going to get upset about things that don't matter. I make those agreements with myself. So we don't think how important that is. But I also want to talk about one thing that comes up sometimes when we make changes in our life, and it is the fear of losing people, the fear of losing what we know is bad for us, but it's familiar, and that familiarity give us a little bit of confidence and give us security. Is false because those people are not good for us. But oftentimes when we face the opportunity to make those changes, we have that fear. This was my friend from childhood. She's not going to be my friend anymore. Or this is my neighbor or my coworker. Is not going to like me anymore because we are not going to connect in this toxicity that we had before, because now I'm healing. Do you see that often?
Yes. This is where the think about mind as you started. When we started this podcast, you said the mind has a conflict, and that's what we're stepping in. So we're creating a new patterns, new thoughts, new automatic behaviors. But the mind itself, I would say like a square box, we have to learn to really open up. And it's called comfort zone. And in that comfort zone, the mind has specific habits. So there is a habit of dialing the friend. There is a habit of hearing that voice. There is a habit of talking to a person we don't want to talk anymore. Without hypnotherapy, that's very hard. When I was going through the divorce, I had the restraining order. And believe me, I was surprised by my actions that I want to take a phone and dial my ex. And I was like, why? That's when I start studying the habits. And the habits still exist. That's why we cannot delete the mind. We cannot delete the behaviors. They're always going to exist. We are making a choice if we act upon it or not. And the mind comfort zone comes from that your subconscious mind orchestrates everything within you. We're talking about thoughts, but your subconscious mind directs your heartbeat, your blood flow, your breath. Every building of every organ, every cell within your body is directed by that subconscious mind. So it has tons of work to do. And when we're asking the mind suddenly do something the mind doesn't know, the mind is confused and very often activate anxiety, fear, and paralyze us. But we have a power over the mind. So I say to my clients, you starting the journey of becoming friend with your mind. You're going to have conversations with your mind, and you're going to be telling your mind how you're going to feel in the new situation.
And it's okay and it's safe.
Yes, it's always safe. And it's like when they learn to do that, they have fun. They really have fun communicating to the mind what they want to do. So You mentioned the fear of losing. We are pre-programmed with certain things and we don't want to lose things. We don't want to lose objects. We don't want to lose friends. We don't want to lose
even family members. Yeah.
familiar things. Everything because the mind is comfortable with what the mind knows. Life is constant change. And we're gonna say goodbye to certain situations, habits, people, and we're gonna welcome new ones. And in hypnotherapy, I do that session when we accept the change. So it's easier. It's not easy or just, okay, I'm going through the change, but it's easier. It's more peaceful. It's more like that's what it is. People come into our life for a reason, a season, sometimes for one day, because they just did something for us and that was all they need to do. Disconnecting from toxicity takes two: subconscious reprogramming, constant repetition, and constant choice that I'm choosing me.
I love that. Tell me how people can find you.
The best way is on my website, www.annahanael.com, or just simply call, which is 702-515-9291. But they also can follow me on YouTube.
Yes, she's very active in YouTube, and you can find a lot of her videos. You have meditation videos, you have reviews from your clients. This has been so enlightening, and I love that we touch so many different parts of the hypnosis and how you help your clients. Because as I said before, sometimes we just accept what is and we don't get curious. And the possibilities are so many for us to have a better life, a happier life, and to be our better version. So I'm so grateful that you were here, and I appreciate you. I adore you, and you are so wise in what you do. So I encourage everybody to visit your YouTube, to learn more about you, and to get curious to see what possibilities they have to improve their life and be happier and have more joy in their life.
Claudia, thank you so much for having me. This was truly an honor, and I appreciate you giving me this platform. And I want to just finish to everyone who listens that you have power to change, and life is an adventure worth living.
Yes, thank you. Thank you all for listening to the Don't Shrink to Fit podcast. If you like this episode, please write a juicy comment below and subscribe to my podcast. Remember, we can only fly if we embrace each other. Until next week, be happy, be safe, and be kind to yourself.